Well, this is a landmark day for Queen Elizabeth, who is celebrating 60 years on the throne. She is the longest-serving monarch after Queen Victoria, her great-great-grandmother, who reigned for more than 63 years. Dana Hutchings is here now with more in tonight's Checkpoint.
Jim, the 85-year-old monarch took the throne when her father, George VI, died on this date in 1952. Queen Elizabeth has outlasted 12 British prime ministers and 6 popes, and year-long celebrations around the Commonwealth kicked off today. In Esquimalt, HMCS Regina is dressed in flags from bow to stern to mark the Diamond Jubilee. In Ottawa, the Queen's ascension to the throne is also being celebrated. March. Cadets and members of the RCMP carried the Queen's Canadian standard for a special ceremony on Parliament Hill. In London, a horse battery fired a 41-gun salute in what's considered the opening of this year's Jubilee celebrations. 60 years ago, King George VI said goodbye to his daughter, Princess Elizabeth, and Prince Philip on their way to Africa. It was the last time she saw him.
It is with the greatest sorrow that we make the following announcement.
A week later, the King was dead, most of Britain not aware he had lung cancer.
That the King passed peacefully away in his sleep earlier this morning.
Still in Kenya, the 25-year-old Elizabeth was suddenly Queen.
The moment that she had got over the initial shock of the King's death, by the time her private secretary came to see her at Sagana Lodge, she was already composed and looking towards the Accession Council, sending telegrams to cancel a trip, and the executive business of being a monarch.
Prime Minister Winston Churchill greeted England's new Queen as she stepped out and into her future. On this anniversary, the Queen said she dedicates herself anew to service with a clear head and warm heart. She spent the day in Norfolk, where elementary school students fittingly sang the Time Warp. And this is just the beginning. The official Queen's Jubilee year will include garden parties, concerts, and 4 days of celebrations in June. And to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee, members of the royal family will be touring Commonwealth countries. Prince Charles and Camilla will make stops in New Brunswick, Ontario, and Saskatchewan later this year. Our Checkpoint question tonight: is the monarchy still as relevant to Canadians as it was 60 years ago? 3 ways you can get in touch with us. You can tweet us at @CHEK_news, post on our Facebook page, or email checkpoint@checknews.ca. Jim, the main Diamond Jubilee celebrations will take place in June. The Queen's 60-year reign will be marked with a river pageant featuring a 1,000-strong flotilla down the River Thames. There were also celebrations planned around the Commonwealth, including Canada, throughout 2012. Our Checkpoint question tonight: is the monarchy still as relevant to Canadians as it was 60 years ago? Here's some of what you had to say.
It's a joke. It's completely irrelevant. It's a train wreck.
We don't want a system like the Americans have. Their American system has got to be a big disaster. So what's the alternative?
I don't think so. I believe in a lot of ways it should be, but I don't think that it is.
I think it's not as relevant because a lot of people are not encouraging it to be so, and not in the school systems and things that used to be. You know, we'd always start out by singing, you know, God Save the Queen and things. Now they don't.
Well, it may not be quite as relevant, but I still think it's very important to Canada. I think it's something for Canadians to look up to and something for Canadians to feel proud about.
It's as relevant to me because I really am an admirer of the Queen.
I don't think so. I don't think we need the monarchy anymore. We're living in Canada and we're not under the Queen's reign.
Marilyn says, absolutely, they are our past, and I, for one, like anything that keeps us separate and distinct from the U.S., regardless of how our PM is trying to turn us into America. Ray says no, she has no significance for Canada, only for recent migrants from that country. And from Twitter, Sam Stewart says, yes, I'm going to the Jubilee celebrations in London in June. And our web poll results after Queen Elizabeth: should Canada continue with the monarchy? 63% said yes, while 37% said no. And it's interesting to note, Queen Elizabeth ascended the throne 60 years ago today, but her official coronation actually wasn't held until June 2nd, 1953, more than a year later. And that's tonight's Checkpoint.